pjnet.tv. It is 9:01 on the east coast of Florida. We are 1 minute behind schedule. Our bumper is running. We're recording and streaming to multiple digital and social media platforms. And our chat room is eager to hear from someone other than me. Counting down to Studio 8. Starting. Well, time flies when you're having fun. I have our guest has been in the green room for some time. It makes me nervous when they're late, and I told them that, and they came early. We've had a pretty good program thus far. I should have just recorded it. Thank you for joining us here at pjnet.tv. I know that many of you in the writing community are watching some awards presentations or something along those lines, and we'll hear more about that, I'm almost certain, in the near future. Hey, it's great to do this, and tonight we have a returning guest who I guess she didn't get it all said the first time, so she's going to continue, and it's great to have, just a dear sister in Christ, and Cynthia Mendenhall is joining us from, that looks like such a warm place you're at, and the people can't see the fall themed decorations on the mantle of that fireplace, but nonetheless, Cynthia, good to have you back. How long has it been?
It's been about a month, I think. Yeah.
Sounds right. Sounds good. We'll go with that.
Not too bad.
Yeah. And last time we talked, let me tell you a little bit about Cynthia. She is a coach, and I have a special place in my heart for all things coaching. And we had some other work to record today, and she said, well, I've got a student this time and this time. Can I get with you? But it's great to be in a situation where you can lead others, and appreciate your leadership there, Cynthia. But we were talking last time about the storms of life, and there are so many, but storms make waves.
They do.
You didn't know that was coming, did you? Yeah.
I did not. I'm like, where's he going? So this beautiful fireplace is called my daughter and her husband. So I escaped to Florida for the week, got out of the cold of Ohio and chilling. So today at lunch, I borrowed her car and I took off to the beach. The waves were unbelievable. It was really windy here, and there was no beach. I took a chair and was planning to sit out in the sun for an hour and enjoy lunch and time over there, and there was no beach. Actually, it was funny because the lifeguard chair was sitting up almost in the parking lot with a lifeguard in it. So it was quite funny, and that's the thing with waves. You just really can't predict what's going to happen with waves, and it can be a very thrilling and a very terrifying thing when we're talking about the ocean, but even more so when we're talking about life.
Well, sometimes I feel like I'm being tossed about in the waves, and I'm thinking there's a biblical reference to Jesus in the waves at one point, and I don't know if that's where you're going with this, but the fact of the matter is, waves, like them or not, are a part of life, and if God wants to, he can stop them by just saying, peace, be still.
Right.
But we can't.
But I think we cannot. And I think maybe sometimes that's what we want to happen, for the waves to stop, but we're better off if we just learn kind of going with the flow. And so I was reminded of about a week ago of an experience I had when I lived at the beach in South Carolina. I had an opportunity to take she wasn't quite a toddler. She was probably like 4 or 5 years old. Her grandmother and I were friends, and we took her to the beach for an afternoon. And little Kenley loved the beach, loved the waves, as long as they didn't go above her knees. And so Grandma would say, here comes a big one. And Kenley would just like stand and take it. It would almost knock her over. And if it got any water splashed up on her face, if it, got up to her waist, she took off running to the sand. And so she would inch back out to the wave. here comes a big one, splash. She's trying to use her salty hands to wipe the salt away from her face and her eyes. And then she would go back in and try again. And it just stood to show me it just kind of opened up an idea when I was trying to, I've been writing some stories for a new book that I'm working on. And it was just the way Kinley approached those waves is is too similar to the way that a lot of people live their lives. They think that if I avoid the waves, life's going to be a lot more secure. It's going to be just a lot more settled and comfortable. And I don't know that that's the way we were called to live. I don't know that a day at the beach in the sand, in the hot sun is all that we were made for. We're not reptiles. So Kenley really found a sweet spot. She just decided, after running back and forth the waves, and it just wasn't worth it anymore to her. And so she was pretty satisfied for a while just sitting in the sand, in the dry sand. And I feel like sometimes life is so threatening. The waves are so scary. They're unpredictable. They're crazy. And we just stay sitting in the sand where we think that we're safe. And it's kind of a sad scenario when I see people who actually, they can articulate. They have dreams, they have hopes, they have wishes. They feel like maybe even God has called them to something. But they take 3 or 4 steps out to about their knees, and then the first wave that comes, they're running back to the dry sand. And so, you might think well, what are those waves? What are the waves of life that you're talking about? I mean, these people, a lot of people have expressed to me that they would really like to maybe be in a relationship again. And when it comes down to it, the dry sand is a lot less riskier, and you have to be a lot less vulnerable in the sand than you do trying to have a new relationship. Some people want to change careers, or maybe start their own business, or how about just creating something write
a book.
Yeah, write a book, create something that matters, maybe even start a ministry. But when it comes down to it, this dry sands of, I don't know, I would say status quo and security, just hold them there. There are some people who say they want to travel, they want to relocate, they want to explore the world. But, when it comes down to it, it's just kind of scary to do that. When the dry sand, it feels pretty comfortable. And it's just it breaks my heart. So that's always been my message. I just love trying to motivate people to kind of get unstuck from where they are, and just to walk into a greater life, to live more fully, to be more intentional about the one life we are given to live. And I really do think that there's a biblical principle that goes with that. So, Coach, I'm going to give you a quiz. You ready?
Oh, you warned me this might be coming. Please, if it takes me more than 2 seconds to answer, make it multiple choice, please. Okay.
Okay, I'll bail you out. So when the teacher does a pop quiz for the coach, so it's around John 10. Actually, it is in John 10 of the Bible. Jesus tells us exactly why he came to earth. Do you remember what he said?
Oh, I remember clearly. It's to suffer serial defeat after serial defeat, because heaven is the pie in the sky that we can look forward to, so we can put up with any amount of hell down here on earth and hope that someday we die and go to heaven. He said that he came that he would have life. Not only life, but that we would have it more abundantly.
All right. I'll accept the B answer, yes. Jesus wants us to have life and to have it more abundantly. That's why he said he came. Oh my goodness. In some versions or translations, abundant life means vibrant, rich, full. And some of us aren't really living a rich, full, abundant, vibrant life. So I guess what disturbs me when you think about that is if we are willing to live sad, settled, small lives, are we actually negating the entire reason that Jesus came?
Oh, it might be even deeper than that. You see, while you were describing all of this picturesque wave stuff, you got me thinking. And I'm reminded of what Zig Ziglar said. He says there's a beautiful port and ship. He says, and that ship in that port is far more secure. There are no waves, there are no winds. But that ship was not built to remain in port. And if it remains in port long enough, the barnacles begin to form around the hull, and the rust begins to eat away at the superstructure of the ship to the point that it's no longer even seaworthy.
So that's a great point, because if we don't get out into the waves, then we're going to be incapable of navigating those waves. That's what you're saying. That's cool. That's a cool point.
We were built for adventure. We were built for an abundant life, not the safe harbor that we settle ourselves into. That safe harbor might be social media. That safe harbor might be seclusion. That safe harbor might be drug addiction. There's a number of safe harbors out there that we can self-medicate ourselves in to avoid the waves of life. And the other picture that you drew in my mind's eye is first of all, I don't like the beach. I don't like anything about it. I sunburn easily. I'm fair skinned,
You live in Florida?
Yes.
I am all about the beach. Yeah. I am all about the beach.
You can have all of it, okay? And I'll take the mighty oaks and the rolling hills of North Florida any day, which is really South Georgia. But I from afar, the beach looks very inviting. The waves are just lapping up on the land, and you can hear the gentle motion. But when you get down there a little bit closer to it, there's those waves are not as gentle as you might think, and that water is salty, and the grit does get in peculiar places when you walk. It rubs, and you find out that. But then you see the dolphins playing out there and jumping and all that. The fun is out there, but you can stay right out here at the outside of the playground and watch everybody enjoy all day long and live a very empty life.
That's a great point. That's what I did with that little Kenley as I watched her sit in the sand. It was cute because she said ocean. She called it ocean.
Yeah.
So she thought the ocean was a lot of fun, but I would argue that Kenley at that point, when she's just sitting in the sand for the afternoon, was more of a spectator watching the game rather than a participant in the game. We have to make sure that we're participating in our lives. We can't just sit and watch our life go by. We have too much to do. There's too much to be done. There's too much that God has put inside of us to accomplish, to just be willing to sit in the sand and watch the game. Does that make sense?
Oh, let me tell you, you can't see it, but there is something in the chat room that's one of those mic drop moments. Monty Hobb shares this. Coach is right. Many Christians hole up at church and never attempt to share their faith. Oh, the safe harbor of our churches. Well, when you're injured and hurting, you need that safe harbor. But when you get well, time to go.
Yep, time to get back out there.
Wow.
Exactly. No, that's good. That's good, Monty.
That is.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep an eye on time. We have plenty of time left, but I don't want the time to fleet. Your website, you didn't have to fight too much to get this domain name, CynthiaMendenhall.com, but you've had it a
That's creative, huh?
Yeah. Where'd you come up with that? How long have you had that website since? 11 you said, or something?
I think I purchased my name as a domain in 2011, and I didn't launch that website and that domain until this summer, this summer.
So it was in that safe harbor for a long time. What brought you out of the safe harbor?
Good point. Well, I'm trying to grow up and be a real writer instead of a hobby writer. And I just needed to have an author website. I previously had a business, and I had a website for the business, and that is no longer something that I'm doing. So I got this out, dusted it off, and put a sell on it. Scooted it out into the water.
Well, when they go,
But yeah.
when people go there, what will they get? What do you hope is the best result that somebody goes to CynthiaMendenhall.com? What are they going to find, and what is your highest hope in this website?
I want people to be encouraged and motivated. And there's a little bit of a thin line between that. I want people to feel encouraged and motivated. So I'm kind of there with you. I know what you're feeling. This is kind of where we are, but this is kind of the next step where we're going to be. So it's a little bit like even tonight's message, it's just, like it's kind of cool where you are right now, but that's never where you want to settle. I like the hashtag, the best life. Why are you not living your best life? And what can I do to help you live your best life? I'm talking with my hands. I hope you don't see all that. But like all of us just really need to be about doing what we were designed to do and doing it with everything we've got in us. If I can, I want to roll it back to so basically, I'm sorry. My website is just a lot about me. It has all my books that I've been published in and the ones that I've published myself. And then I do have a blog that comes out about every other week. And again, it's just uplifting, always positive, just always a little bit of an inspirational side, and just some fun things that I write about over there and share. So that's what I hope people get. I do want to flip back to the story with Kinley in the middle of the sand, though, in the afternoon, if I can. So here's what I watched happened. And so now I've reflected on that. So Kinley was really happy in the sand and felt very, very safe there. But we all know what happens as afternoon kind of starts to slide into evening. The tide comes up, and it wasn't long until those scary waters were kind of inching toward her little spot in the dry sand. We kind of have to be used to navigating the waves before we can handle the high tide. And listen, guys, the high tide comes to sand sitters. Like, you want to sit in the sand, that high tide's going to come and get you. And so we can be really proactive and intentional about what we do with our life, or sometimes we can just wait for life to kind of deal its best shots to us. And then we're ill prepared to handle that because we've never been in the waves. And so I think a high tide for a lot of us would be something like a job loss, maybe losing someone that you love, maybe a death of a relationship, or a crippling financial hit that you didn't see coming. And those waves can really take our feet out from under us. And that's why I think it's important to kind of plan and live out what our purpose is, and to kind of do everything you can to be intentional in designing your life. So you're out in the waves and your head's going under and you're bobbing and it's dangerous. Yes. Is it scary? Oh, yes. Are the waves unpredictable? Most certainly. Is it worth it? Oh, forever and ever. Yes, yes, yes. It is worth it. Because if nothing else, I mean, you are going to build a bigger life, a fuller life. You're just going to have so much more of an incredible story and an incredible impact to share with others. But at the very least, you're going to be able to navigate life's waves when the tide comes in and hits you when you think you're in the dry sand.
Well, another picture that you're drawing in my mind is our life is like those sandcastles we build on the beach. Mm. We invest a lot of time and effort, and with great care, we build that sandcastle. But you know what? The tide comes in and it laps away. And our lives are like a vapor, it says in the scriptures. I just read that the other day in a devotional reading. By the way, we're out of time, but I do want to say you are here not only by yourself, but you are here supported by your PJNet family in the chat room, but also some VineWords.net members are here, and that's something new for you. Cool. So in addition to using your website as an outlet, you'll be speaking in ministry through vinewords.net. What does next year hold for you there?
So I originally connected with Diane and via PJNet, watching her present, and I was like, oh, I wonder if there's an opportunity there for me. I reached out to her, and she was able to give me a little, but then just a few days later emailed me and said, sister, I need for you to do one a month. Would you be able to come up with 12 devotions for 2021? And I said, yes, ma'am. I would love to. I'll do everything I can. So I've already submitted 6 of them in the last 3 weeks. So I'm very excited to be a part of what they're doing. Again, just a good group, a nice team of people putting things out there, just for the world who's hurting, and just being able to have opportunity to encourage and just share the word in meaningful ways.
You got it. Well, we've heard 2 great devotionals from you tonight and then one earlier, and we look forward to more and more. Cynthia, enjoy your time with family here in the great state of Florida, and we look forward to more good things to come in the near future. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much. It's been fun. Bye, guys.
And there you see the view from high atop the Eagle's Nest studios here at pjnet.tv. And the fun is not over. In fact, it's only beginning. In just a few moments, we're going to hear from, almost like a stranger. Michelle Medlock Adams is back, and she will be right here in just a few moments. So I hope you'll stick around for that. And as I leave, I would like to ask you to challenge yourself with 2 what I consider to be very important questions. First, what is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And then secondly, when was that? Folks, we can't just sit on the beach of life. We've got to get out there and do it. And I certainly hope that none of us would ever be satisfied with either answer to those 2 questions.